6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face. Blackest eyes. The devil's eyes.
Such sights to show you. We'll tear your soul apart.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie. For instance, number 1, you can never have sex. Sex equals death, okay? Number 2, you can never drink or do drugs. It's a sin, it's an extension of number 1. And number 3, never, ever, under any circumstances say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
I'll be right back!
You see, you push the laws and you end up dead.
Just in the middle of a dream, I was kissing Valentino by a crystal blue Italian stream. But I can't be late, cause then I guess I just won't get paid. These are the days when you wish your bed was already made. It's just another manic Monday. It was Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day. I don't have to run day. It's just another manic Monday. I wish it was Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day. It's just another manic Monday.
Oh, yeah, woo! Woo-hoo. Welcome out, everybody, to another Death Curse Society's Monday Maniacs. We got a special one for you today. I'm Red Crank, I got Zigzag, and I got the Colonel.
Oh, hell yeah.
How we doing tonight, gentlemen? Colonel, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's my least favorite day of the week, so fuck yeah. I'm kidding. I'm pumped to be here tonight, and I'm looking forward to what we have in plan.
Right. Yeah, let me spell this out real quick to the folks. I know we said last week we were going to do our top 5 monsters of horror. Something fell into our lap that we couldn't necessarily miss up on or pass up on, so we decided to do that instead. We've got the crew from Witness Infection are going to be joining us shortly. We watched the trailer for it a couple of weeks ago. We're going to watch it again later today, too. So as soon as you guys get in here and get ready for that, we've got Carlos Alazraqui coming in. You may know him from Reno 911. Rocco from some Nickelodeon cartoon a long time ago.
We're moving up in the world, man.
Nickelodeon cartoon is Rocco's Modern Life. Get with it. I mean,
I don't know it.
Years old now. Come on.
I don't know the cartoon, but you do, and you did, so there you go. We're going to have Jill-Michele Melean. They are the co-writers, and they also star in the film, and then we've got director Andy Palmer going to join us, which, man, is going to be kind of odd, because a year ago, you guys trashed his last film. I actually kind of dug it, but you guys, not so much.
I was under. Go ahead, Colonel.
I'm just going to say, Crank loved it.
No, I enjoyed it.
Enough. He enjoyed it. All right. Sorry, he enjoyed it. I didn't, but I was nice about shitting on it. Where Zag went full-blown Hiroshima on the
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
I watched the review again the other day. You called it chocolate milk without the sugar. You called it Kool-Aid without the flavoring.
All right. Something along those lines. But, I mean, shit, man. This is something that we watched a movie I had high hopes for. I liked the idea of what they were doing with it, and then it just went nowhere near. You guys are just blinded by Danielle Harris. You don't even know what the hell that movie was about. Stop it. But we're back. Listen, this, as they say in Dumb and Dumber, this man has totally redeemed himself with Witness Infection. We can't really even get into details of the fucking movie because it's not out yet. But we're going to come in. We'll see what we can get away with. And who knows? Maybe I'll have to kiss Andy's ass. I don't know.
No. Well, if you remember, he actually reached out to us. He saw the review. He commented on our Instagram and was just like, ouch, that was kind of harsh, guys. And I reached back to him and, just kind of tried to smooth it over. And I was like, hey, appreciate the fact that you watched it. It wasn't for most of us, but, we'll not saying we won't give you another chance. We hope we can get you on the show sometime. Flash forward a year later, he's going to be on with us tonight. So that's great.
And, this movie, Yeah.
Ziggy, how's your week been?
Pretty, not too bad. It's been good. We're getting, gearing up for the big Easter holiday, and it's well known. I go out and do a big, huge plant sale. We raise some money for some things. It's cool. It's backbreaking work, but hey, man, it's rewarding, and that's coming up. So we're getting ready for that. Actually going to send the kid back to school in 2 weeks. Mixed feelings on it. But
right when Michigan's spiking, that's perfect timing.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Everybody's vaccinated around here, so that's kind of what the worry was before.
Right. Yeah. Everybody out there, make sure to check in. Let us know how your week has been. We want to know. Let us know what horror movies you watched over the last week. We got some stuff to. We got to stretch for a little bit until these guys join us here in about 20 minutes or so. So. We're going to chat a little bit about the movie. We're going to chat a little bit about some other topics, maybe, just briefly. But, yeah, we've got our full review coming out tomorrow for this film. So we can't really get too deep into it, I don't think. So, looks like we got James in here, Dave, Tyrone. Tyrone, explain this, because I see this acronym all the time. DCS, FF, DCS. I'm not exactly sure what the FF stands for, so help me out on that. We got Patricia in here. Hi, Patricia. We got James.
Oh, hold on. Before we get too far, I want a round of applause for Patricia. She made her appearance yesterday. On,
oh, yeah.
Fuck. I always get the words mixed up. Bloodbath and Boom. Hold on.
Bloodbaths and boomsticks.
That's what I thought. I always skip them back. I would say boomsticks and bloodbath. So, yeah. I look forward to listening to it. I'm excited for it. I can't wait till it gets released.
Yeah, we will definitely check that out. And if I can get to it, I think that deserves.
Ain't nothing like the real thing. Yeah, I know.
So a little golf clap there for Patricia. Congratulations. James is talking. I'm not sure what he's talking about here. He's talking about special pizza. I'm not sure. Oh, maybe Ziggy needs a special pizza. I don't know.
Pizza.
Yeah. We got Kiara in here. What's up, Kiara?
Kiara.
We got Sheila. Hey, Zigzag and crew.
Yes.
Hello, Sheila. And
welcome.
Oh, let's see here. Kiara says, watch some Dawn of the Dead over the weekend. Always a good choice. We got Patricia said, I watched It's Alive today. Nice.
Oh, man, that's a classic.
Yeah. And James watched Paranormal Activity and rewatched Poltergeist. Obviously, if it's James, I assume it's the original. Poltergeist, that is.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Is it the original? The one that they...
Yeah, that's kind of my question about Dawn of the Dead. And for Kiara, I'm like, was it this?
Yeah, but even the
Could be.
Snyder's Dawn of the Dead is pretty fucking good for remake.
I slightly disagree. I just don't think it's aged well. I really enjoyed it when it first came out in 2005. Not so much when last rewatching. It's like,
Tyrone explained the mystery. It's Forever Forever. Says it's a biker lingo.
Yes, I should have got that. Sorry.
Yeah. I've been on a tricycle once in my life. It didn't end well. So, yeah. That's about the extent of my biker knowledge. James also says, Cinema Insomnia Haunted House Special was campy but fun. I will have to look for that one. And Patricia says, thanks, guys. Hey, we're here to support, we love all kinds of fellow podcasters, and we hope, you guys tune in. We try to tune into you guys when we can.
All the same.
And James confirms original, yes. Sheila says, just started rewatching all the Nightmares. That'll make you go to sleep a lot easier. And Patricia says, they asked me to podcast next week because Tim can't be on. I picked Serial Mom for my movie to cover.
Hey.
All right. So good. You're doing 2 weeks in a row.
Moving on.
Soon, pretty soon she's going to be taking over this show, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Not Mondays.
Pick your own day, Patricia. All right, gang. So, yes. Hope you guys have been enjoying all the content that we've been dropping over the last few days. We got some more coming for you here later this week. Like I said, we have a review of Witness Infection coming. And yes, we think you guys will enjoy this. I think it's time. Let's go ahead and let's visit the trailer real quick.
Sure.
This is the official trailer for Witness Infection.
Vince, we gotta go. Carlo needs our help. Let's go.
I have to marry Patricia Miola.
Hi, honey.
And I gotta get her pregnant or we're all going to war. Is this right, or did I just wake up in Game of Thrones? Preferably a son.
If you don't do this, the Miolas, they're gonna keep coming. They're gonna go after you.
Jeez.
Don't stop. They're gonna go after your friends. Daggers were my specialty. Of course, I was 14 years old. I was at the Y. And then they're gonna kill me.
The small town of Lake Elsinore, California is suffering what many are calling an apocalyptic end-of-the-world type illness.
Oh. Ollie, is that you?
Is your cousin back on meth?
Are you guys seeing this? We are being chased by zombies!
You are such a...
such a double standard when you use the B word?
Zombies. What a crazy, stupid day.
Holy sh! Here's your shine box.
Down. I don't think this is gonna help.
So there you go, gang. That is the trailer for Witness Infection. It comes out tomorrow on video on demand. I believe available on Vudu, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, whatever you call that. So, yeah, let us know what you think about that in the comments. We'll chat about that for a little bit. Guys, Ziggy, my expectations with this, and probably for you as well, were quite low. Tell me a little bit about that.
Who would ever thought that we needed a mob zombie infection story? I didn't. I wasn't even thinking of it. Would never think the two could ever blend in any way, shape, or form. Holy shit. This is a movie that you absolutely want to see. It's I don't want to compare it too much to The Dead Don't Die with Bill Murray. It's kind of in that vein, but it's not as dry. It's way wetter. There's good jokes in it. I mean, I said it in the review. This is my kind of dumb, and I don't mean that in a slam in any way. This is just a fun fucking movie that has a little bit of everything, and I'm just saying, man, it's due. We were due to get a good something come down the pike that we could rave about, and something different. And this kind of covers it all, man. I was very happy to see this movie. I can't wait till everybody sees it so we can fucking talk about some details. But man, I loved it. I thought it was good. Right.
Sheila says nothing like Guido zombies.
Oh, man.
That's true. James, don't get an infection. Kiara, horror humor movie. Yes. Now, those normally are very iffy for me. Like, I hate the scary movie series. I hate it. This one, though, did much better for me.
This isn't slapstick. There's no slapstick in this. It's more, they're trying to play it.
They try to play it straight.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but there's just an awareness of how straight to play it. And I think they nailed it beautifully.
Yeah. And then James says, looks wild. It's definitely different. I'll say that. Wrong one. Faye says, did you run into some twins in a hallway on that tricycle crank? No, I rode it down a hill in small town Oilton, Oklahoma that was way too steep for me to be on and smashed into a tree. And I think I got like 8 stitches in my forehead. So, yeah. No, not a bike guy. Not a biker, not a bike guy at all. So.
I ain't going to say what I just thought.
Colonel, what were your first expectations for this upon seeing the trailer?
I know people watching don't know, but you guys know. When we had a chance to get a screener for this, I watched the trailer. I said, yes, we need to watch this. I had high hopes from the beginning. Like, I was like, this movie, I just had a feeling it was going to be funny as shit. I just didn't expect it to be as good as it was. I was expecting just a nice, fun, funny movie, but this got a nice, fun, funny movie. Characters you can definitely relate to. Some touching moments.
You'll care about them.
Just the movie references throughout the entire movie.
Oh. I want to save that. I want to save that to when they're here, so I can.
I'm just going to say, in an oversaturated market of zombie films, this was a nice, refreshing film to finally watch. Holy shit! One that wasn't absolutely terrible.
Yeah. We got a new viewer in here, looks like. I don't recognize his name anyway. Michael Horan. Hello, Michael. Thank you for tuning in.
Welcome.
Yeah, this one, like I said, after the first movie I had seen from this director. Was a movie called Camp Coldbrook that came out a couple years ago on the festival circuit, but then was released last March for video on demand, and we checked it out. I liked it, but it could have been a whole lot better, I thought. Most of that was based on the story, though, and the director didn't have anything to do with the screenplay on this one. And I rewatched it recently. Yeah, still holds up the same for me. I also watched another movie he did that I think you guys would like because it had some decent gore in it, and it's also a comedy horror film called The Fun House Massacre. Features Robert Englund and Courtney Gaines in some small roles, and yeah, it's a fun flick. It's a fun flick. I think you would like it. So, and that's available free on like Vudu, Tubi, Amazon Prime. So check it out when you get a chance.
I tried. My little assistant wouldn't let me watch anything yesterday, except for the Monster Squad. So.
Oh, okay. There we go. Patricia wants to look at your shirt a little bit more. I want to see it too. She says she likes Colonel's shirt.
It's pretty badass. I wish Fright Rags do another reissue of it so I can get another one.
The Flyboy.
The Flyboy, baby.
Yeah. All right. Michael adds he is big on Michael Myers. We're not necessarily talking a whole lot about Myers today, but I'm sure we will this coming October whenever Halloween Kills comes out and leading up to that.
You know, the funny thing about Michael Myers is he's also a fan of the fresh breath.
Mentos, the fresh maker.
I'm sorry. I'll see myself out.
Every fucking week, dude.
There. That took care of that. Oh, hey, there he is. Yeah.
Michael Myers. It was an instant segue. I had to do it. It had to be done. It had to be done.
I thought you were going to put one together with the Witness Infection movie, but I guess you ran out of time or weren't able to.
I saw what I wanted to do, but yeah, I was pushing it. I didn't want to get stuck in development hell with it and then not make it here in time. So, plus, again, I'm not sure how they would feel about us dicking around with. How'd you record that? What are you doing?
Right. Don't give away our secrets. All right. Brandon BK is in the house. He says, forget it. Got my pizza and pop. Let's get it going. Well, we're waiting on the cast and crew to join us, so give us a few minutes on that. James remembers the Fun House Massacre. Good. Kiara says, Crank, you still got ghost activities going on over there. Yeah. I get a rundown from Tyrone on every video we put out, so it's great. I get like a little list in the comments on YouTube of all the stuff. Michael's laughing at your Mentos commercial. Patricia says you guys should check out fastcustomshirts.com. Lots of great horror shirts, cheap. Yeah. And stay tuned for deathcurssociety.com. We got some things in the works coming soon, too. And Michael says, can't wait to see Halloween Kills. Yes, we are aware. We are ready for that movie as well. We can't wait to see that. But tonight...
Another time.
Right. Tonight is all about Witness Infection, and it looks like we have our first guest, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring him in right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the director of the Fun House Massacre, Camp Coldbrook, many others, and the upcoming Witness Infection, Mr. Andy Palmer. Andy, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us, sir.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Where are you coming to us from this fine evening?
The City of Angels, Los Angeles.
Very nice.
Yep. You know, can't complain. How are y'all doing? Where are you guys from?
Ziggy is in Detroit, basically. Colonel is in Cincinnati, and I'm in Oklahoma.
Oh, nice. I have
Right.
I have shot a movie near Cincinnati in Middletown. I have shot a movie in Oklahoma City. I have not shot a movie in Michigan, so.
Well, it's dangerous.
You need to
It's dangerous in Michigan.
40% tax rebate back. That was sweet when Michigan was doing that.
You know, and we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, and how they just our governor came in and just that was the first thing they sliced. It was like, oh my God, you know, I mean, you just had they were building giant facilities to make movies here, like big productions, and I mean, we get a few of them here still, but you know, they ruined the whole thing.
Yeah, it's
Right.
too bad. Well, and I think also there's you know, especially when you get that 40, and I think Iowa at one point was like 50%. There were a lot of production companies that were also taking a clear advantage of that, and you know, making purchases that were not legit and stuff like that. But I think most of all the states, I know Ohio, Oklahoma, they've got it down to a system now, and the auditing process is pretty regulated, and you know, it's everything for, you know, independent filmmakers at a certain budget level to be able to go to a state and get that rebate. It makes it so much easier to get a movie made.
Very nice, very nice. Well, Andy, thank you for joining us. Let me introduce our next guest. She's a stand-up comic. You may have seen her on Mad TV. You may have also seen her on Reno 911 from time to time, and you can catch her starring in the new Witness Infection coming out tomorrow. And I hope I say this right. It's Miss Jill-Michele Melean. Hello, ma'am. Welcome to the show. Uh-oh.
She's Mike.
No mic. No mic, Jill. Not yet. Hold on. Let me see here. Oh,
work it out. Can you
Try that.
There it is.
There we go. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, no, my headphones in. Hi, it's Melean, but I will take that. It's totally
Gotcha.
good. How are you
Melean.
doing? Yeah.
All right. We're doing well. How about you?
I'm good. I'm excited for the film to come out tomorrow.
Yes. Yes, we are too. We're very excited about this one. Where are you coming to us from tonight?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So yes, where are you guys at?
We're in Detroit, Cincinnati, and Oklahoma. So.
Oh my gosh, everywhere.
We're all over the place.
I love it. Hi, Andy.
Yeah. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Now, let me ask you first, had you guys ever worked together on a film? You and Andy?
No, this was our first film working together. You know, I've worked with Carlos millions of times. And, you know, and it was, Carlos had mentioned Andy Palmer, and I was like, oh, I'm not familiar with his work. And when I looked at his work, I was like, he's amazing. And then I met him in person, and his energy was infectious, just like Witness Infection. And then,
I ate a lot of sausages. That's why.
Yes, it did. And then, you know, I think ultimately, you know, when directors are meeting with actors and vice versa, you want to make sure that you guys have the same kind of, you know, vision, and you're going to take it to the next level, you know. And Andy was that person. He saw it. He knew that we wanted that horror element, that creepy horror, and he knew that we were a bunch of comics, and he knew he was going to have to rein us in and bring us down. And he got it. And I was just like, yep, Andy's the one. So I feel like I've known him forever, but no.
Yeah,
excellent.
We were definitely fast friends, for sure.
Yeah.
So it's and I worked with Carlos a bunch as well. So Carlos he did my first movie. I flew him out to my hometown in Colorado, you know, and put him up in the worst motel in my hometown, and he was perfectly cool with it. So you know, and so from then on, I always try to anything I'm doing, I try to get Carlos into, and so it was a fun flip to come and do a project that these guys had written, and you know, it was different in the fact that I've for whatever reason up until Camp Coldbrook, I had always done movies that the actors had written, and so I had kind of gone through that, and it's a very interesting process when you're dealing with the actors who are also the writers, because everybody has their own vision for what the movie is, and so I learned the hard way through coming up through those different films on, how to work with actors, how to treat actors differently as when we're like, okay, you're the writer here, you're the actor here, and stuff like that. So Carlos will get on, but there was a really funny story where I called these guys and I was like, we need to have a very serious talk, right? It was right before we were shooting. It's a very serious talk. And so I was like, I need both of you there. And then we're like, okay, we'll go to Jill's house. So we go to Jill's house and I sit down and Carlos is like, I'm not going to be able to be there. I'll just call in. And I was like, strike one, Carlos, strike one, my friend. But the whole conversation was like, I was like, guys, like, I'm heading this off at the pass right now. You guys, this is your baby, and I get it, but now you need to give me your baby, and I'm going to make it on the fly, and I'm going to do things with your baby that you're going to think is stupid and not working, and I was like, but I just need you to be the actors and just trust me with your baby here, And I
remember this.
That's why we brought you guys on. That's why we brought you on and everything like that. And then on the very first take of the first day, I was like, okay, cut. And I go to make an adjustment and Carlos comes flying from the back of the room. I think what we need to do here is this. So we need to change all this around. And I was like, missed it by that much.
Strike two, Carlos.
We found our rhythm.
That's
good.
Andy, I had no idea about that story. And I do have to add to what Andy said. I'll never forget, there was one day on set and Andy was like, we're not going to be able to make this happen this one day, because we were just the time, indie films will move so fast. And I remember like running up and I have blood all over me. And I'm like talking serious. And Andy, I don't know if you remember this. Andy goes like this. He goes, okay, hold on a second. I have to take actor out of this right now. So I'm like,
I have to subtract all this blood. Yeah.
It's great.
Well, speaking of Carlos, looks like he's ready to come in. So let's bring him in. You guys may also recognize him from Reno 911, the voice of Rocco's Modern Life, Mr. Carlos Alazraqui. Hello, sir.
Hello. I don't know how the volume is on this, but because
sounds good.
You're good, yeah.
No,
look at him showing up in an actual professional sound booth. What the hell?
Yes. This is where I work. This is where I make a living, as it were.
Yeah.
When we're not doing the horror movies, but yes, Jillian and I trusted Andy with our baby, and we got something good. So I
agree.
And yes, it was a decent motel. It was just very dry in Colorado Junction.
That's right. Yes, that's true.
Drinking one beer and getting a headache.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on here?
High altitude, yes, indeed. But no, it was. No, Carlos was a great sport, because I think it was like at the time in that part of my town, they were doing a lot of like fracking. So it was like the frackers. It was like all the frackers were staying there. So it was just like I don't know.
I think I had fracker water.
It smelled of natural gas fields and salty hookers. I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't speak to it, but
You're absolutely right, because when a group of them get together, they feel like wherever they're at, the hotel, restaurant, bar, whatever it is, they feel like they have taken over that place and it's theirs. And it's just very strange culture, the fracking workers and the oil field workers. Not knocking them, but just kind of strange.
Definitely. It's like own subgenre of jobs for sure.
Yeah, their wardrobe changes as they go into green energy, like windmills and hydropower. No more flannel.
We'll see how that transition works out. I'm not sure how many are going to actually do that. We'll see, though.
I think in the Dakotas, they're like desperate. Like in some of these towns that have been left behind, in the Virginias, they're like, "Hey, we've been left behind. Coal's dead. We'll do anything. We'll do retail."
Right.
We'll see. But while they're, hopefully people will have time to enjoy our movie. Right.
Oh,
segue.
That's right. Very nice segue.
Yeah.
Speaking of, let me get started with Carlos and Jill on this. How did the idea to combine a zombie movie with mob characters first come from? Where did that originate?
I kind of had a genesis of an idea in my head, but it was just a big clumsy mold of clay that I just thought I'd love to see those two constructs, those two genres be blended, and then come to find that through our friendship that Jilly and I both love Shaun of the Dead and we both love The Sopranos. So I sort of just came with a legal pad with a few notes, and then within like the rest of the 2 hours, we almost had an outline on the first day. and because Jill was tossing in some characters, and I think both starting from that core of Shaun of the Dead, we knew we wanted to make something that was, and we'll get into Andy being the choice and being the right director because of that. But I believe that's the way that we came together on that.
Yeah, I mean, we both we toured together for so many years as comics, and we would do some wacky things. We weren't like regular comics where, we sleep in and we order food in the hotel rooms, and we would like call each other in the morning, like, okay, what are we going to do today? What adventure? And we go on these adventures, and sometimes they would be really weird adventures, like ghost hunting and finding cemeteries. And, we would have these weird kind of fun things. And we loved the horror genre so much. And we also loved the horror audience so much. And we knew, like, if the two married together and done well, like Shaun of the Dead or Dale versus, all of that. Yeah, that one I love so much too. It's like there's, and Scream even, let's go way back. It's like, I said, I think we're capable of doing something like this. And then when Carlos came in, was like, how about mobsters and zombies? And I was like, brilliant. And we just ran with it.
Yeah. That's kind of what I said, I thought it was just a brilliant premise.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And throughout the process, we knew we didn't want to make it like a Zucker knockoff or just a spoof like Mafia, because I was leaning towards like Mafia with Jay Moore and stuff like that, and filling it with sort of all those notes, and then we just kind of steered away from that, and Andy helped us bring some of the broadness out. Yeah. And granted, there is some pretty broad comedy in there, but we wanted to tell a little story, beginning, middle, and end, and make it Harry Potter and Hermione and Ron Weasley together on this adventure. I don't know who our Hagrid was, but I guess we'd have to figure that out. But that's the way we wanted to tell it. And Andy was on par with that. We met with a couple of other directors who were like, hey, we can have zombies and wet shoes, cement shoes, and rising from the lakes. They've been, and stuff like that. We're like, no, don't want to do that. So
one of my favorite notes from a director we met with was, they said, how about we do a stripper scene with stripper zombies? And I was like, I don't know what movie you're talking about right now.
I think they're talking about the movie Stripper Zombies. I mean,
yes.
they already did that movie, if I'm not mistaken.
You're probably not mistaken. But I was a big fan of I was a big fan of Dead Snow and Lederhosen Zombies too, just for the silliness of it. And so there were some aspects of both of those that I wanted to add without getting into a broad fest, as it were. But yeah, we just got lucky all around, and I was impressed with Jill's ability to put together This Is Meg, her other movie, some of the scripts that she wrote, and her structure was just fantastic. And I'm just an ideas guy. Like, I do funny voices. And so, and then same with Andy. Andy, I had worked on a couple of projects as well. Both of their abilities to tell story is definitely what really got us to where it needed to be, for sure. But for example, if I would have tried to write this on my own or direct it on my own, not even close. So definitely the inputs of Jill and Andy helped make it what it is.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I like that. And I also want to say, I like the fact that you chose to not go for the over-the-top humor. You decide to go with the more subtle, basing, kind of letting the characters take themselves seriously, but not too seriously. That kind of humor, rather than, like you mentioned, the Zucker Brothers Mafia or something like that, or Naked Gun.
Yeah, and I think we got lucky with Rob, because I had met Rob and Tim Stoltenberg. Tim plays our salon stylist who meets sort of with some weird circumstances near the end of our film. I met him in a commercial improv acting class, and Rob was with Bloom trying to pitch a horror movie. He had made a short with Amy Carrero, who's actually going to be a part of a new series. And I met Amy on Elena of Avalor, and I met Allison Bosch, a casting director, through Puppy Dog Pals, voiceover work. Mm-hmm. And the part of Carlo was written for myself, and I would have played it totally differently. But Simon Pegg brought to her that manic corner. We got to get this done, Mike. Just shot my mother, And so when we found out that it would be a hard time with our budget to cast somebody to play my father, because then we're looking at a Danny Aiello type, R.I.P., or a Paulie Sorvino type, which we couldn't afford. So Allison Bosch goes, why don't you play the dad? And I think Rob Belushi's a great actor, and I saw him growing up, on the set of According to Jim, And I went, yeah, I just met Rob. So fortuitous, yes. And he brought a whole different energy. And, Andy massaged Rob because Rob was, he had a different energy than we did. But in the end, he's our Jerry Seinfeld. We got the Kramers, we got the Georges, we got the Elaines. So let's just let Rob just steer this. And that's how the story works. It's like my family's cartoons. It's in Andy's that Game of Thrones lines that he says. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Andy.
Yeah, it's and then that's the thing is like Rob is the audience, and so it's just like he's kind of the barometer of where are we, and if any of us was in this position, this is the ridiculousness of this situation. And so, but it was a challenge for Rob because Rob is he's a Second City guy, and he's used to being super funny, and he is hysterical, and he's funny in this movie, but in this like very like understated way. And he would come up all the time and be like, are you getting everything you need from me? Is everything okay? Are we okay? Do you even like me? And I was like, of course, we're fine. You're doing great. And he's like, all right, man, I get, and it was a totally different sort of humor for him. And I'm like, just trust the process. I'm like, I'm like Frank Grillo in Warrior. I'm like, hear the Beethoven, Rob. It's all just, be calm, hear the music. It's all fine. It'll be fine in the wash,
And Jilly pulling back too. Go ahead. No, Jilly pulling back too from her, desire to be a comedian and be on all the time. Jilly pulled way back as well and was far more dramatic than, that part might have been. And we leave it to Vince to be the comic relief and Brett Ernst to be the comic relief. Even myself, even Carlos Alazraqui, outside of him showing up in green velour sweats, he's pretty dramatic all the way through. Except for, Dante, you ruined my ficus. But totally no, Jilly had a nice dramatic turn as well, and it really made Vince pop a lot more. So it just all worked.
I mean, the characters too, they're great. I mean, you care about them. The whole journey, that matters so much in the movies. And this, I was like, oh, okay. But no, they get you hooked and it goes along. And shit, they even tug at your heartstrings a little bit throughout this process. So, I mean, I thought you guys nailed it. I thought it was great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I have to credit Andy for all of that because, again, the reason why we loved Andy so much and we love him so much is because we know as comics we can get really big, and the thing is that once we had something in the can, most of us know that now it's time to improv and now it's time to just go. And he would be like, okay, let's bring it back a little bit. But without like stomping on our creativity, and I think we all kind of found that rhythm together and what worked, because again, like when we originally wrote it, it was for Carlos. Yeah. And so it was a very high intensity. The three of them together were very almost like Scooby-Doo, so yeah. So then now with Rob in there, it became more of like, the Harry Potter trio, which was a better element because then it made, other characters pop, which were necessary, so like when Monique comes in, you're like, bam, when she comes into that bar scene, you're just like,
she does.
Yeah.
She does, man.
Yeah.
The part, and Jilly Will and I have said this in a couple of interviews, that we wrote these parts for our friends. We had the characters down, but Vince was based on Vince. Rob was based on me, but Brett Ernst, who played Dominic, was actually written for Ryan Bottiglieri, who is our hunter from Jersey, who plays Paulie. So we sort of knew who could play these roles already, and that really helped us write towards that. And then, Andy did a great job just directing each aspect of it. Like, this is where we need to be broad. This is where we need to be more dramatic. This is where we need to pull it back. And this is how much time we have. So, Andy's like trying to steer the ship. There's an iceberg. Oh, there's a seal. We're in Antarctica. Wait a minute. We're in the South Seas.
Right.
So.
I can imagine it gets off the rails a little bit with that. But I want to see if Colonel wants to ask a question. I know he's probably geeking out a little bit that you're here because he's an old school Rocco fan. So
yes.
Yes. I was going to say, I'm sorry, I'm a little here right now, a little stuttery. Again, Rocco's Modern Life was a big part of my childhood growing up. My all-time favorite Nicktoon, and I really appreciate it now that I understand all the jokes.
Yes.
And even Reno 911 in high school, beginning in college, was huge. For me, I'm a big fan. Sorry, I was just listening.
No, go ahead. Tell me more.
No, he's got it now.
Let's go. That's okay. Calm down. You're not going to get arrested, okay?
Okay. No, just what I loved was all the movie references you two put into this film. Like, I was just geeking out catching all of those because I'm a huge horror fan, but I'm also a huge fan of like the mobster movies.
Yeah, we had a brilliant, I think, device that allowed us to be on top of that, and that was our Vince character. You know, I've seen that character done in sort of other movies to some extent, but never in a zombie film. You know, there's a self-awareness in some zombie films that people are turning into zombies, but never referencing George Romero or then referencing Midnight Run in the same breath, you know. And so that was kind of fun. We could use Vince, we could use that as an excuse to like be on top of it with those movie references.
Yeah, I loved every second of it. Vince was awesome. An awesome character.
He's awesome.
Yep.
I almost feel like Vince could be kind of based on Andy a little bit, though. Was that part of what you may have been thinking?
That's funny. You know, I do have a crush on Jill, so you know that is translating to real life right there.
That's why you call for 3 takes of that hug scene.
I mean, you guys just saw. I'm like referencing Frank Grillo and Warrior. Like, I'm a pop culture nerd. Like, I just, you know, my whole life is spoken through, you know, movie quotes and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, Vince is a lot like me, and it was fun to like play with Vince Don Vito because he's just so game for everything, you know.
Yeah.
And so we were doing, you know, I mean, and we would just throw, you know, the most fun thing with these guys is just throwing lines. I mean, like the whole, like, you know, the whole thing when Monique raises her rifle up and it's empty, I was like, oh, it's just like Raiders of the Lost Ark, you know? And then it doesn't go off. And then I was like, oh, it's like Temple of Doom when he reaches in his holster and the gun's not there, you know, and he has to fight with the whip and stuff like that. And I was like, we'll just put those both in there together. So it was really fun to do that. Is just kind of toss lines and see.
And then we get another subtle movie difference. Although the wardrobe, when Jilly suggested to Erica Schwartz that she wanted to dress Joe Reitman and Gary Anthony Williams in those Pulp Fiction suits,
Pulp Fiction,
and then they came up, and I didn't tell Andy because Andy had to shoot a 2-shot in a car, and so I went ahead and told those guys to improv, which made it challenging for Andy to get the coverage. But that whole thing about 2 birds and 1 stone is so Pulp Fiction, and it's just something. I don't even think they thought they were doing a Pulp Fiction riff, but they just came up with it on the spot, and it works really well.
Yeah.
It really did. I always shoot 2 camera. I love shooting 2 camera, especially with comedy, because it's like you can never get those moments back. But that was the one scene where I think it was just the way that like they were in the car and I was like, oh, we'll just do French overs. We'll, you know, come from the back seat on them and stuff like that. And it was the one time that I couldn't cross shoot it just because we couldn't light the whole neighborhood up. You had to light one side and then we had to light the other side. And I was like, all right, guys, so we're going to stick to the script inside the car. And then the moment when you're outside the car, you guys are both in the frame. So just do what you do. And they were like, yeah, Carlos told us just to riff, so we're just going to do that. I don't even know what the script says. And I was like, perfect. Yeah.
But they were so consistent and they were very cautious to like not step on each other's lines so that when I was cutting it, it was fine.
Yeah.
That's when Andy is reaching for the Tylenol when they say, yeah, we're just going to riff. He's like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I think, the beauty of working with such incredible professionals. Like, even though we are an indie film, it's an indie film with all these seasoned actors and, you know, and also actors that wouldn't necessarily get the chance to be a lead, you know, like Vince Don Vito, which it's like, he's such a great actor, as you all have witnessed, and he's one of Carlos's best friends. And it's like, if we were studio or somewhere else, they would have been like, no, we're not casting him. We're going to cast such and such. And this was the beauty of not only us writing and producing, but, you know, Carlos and his wife being our executive producers, we really had that creative control. and and not have somebody over our shoulder going, yeah, no, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. It was more Carlos doing things to Andy, like, you don't have to do the script.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both Vince and Roger Ridnack were part of the same acting kind of theater group in that kind of vein. And so Roger, as Father Mike, does a fantastic job. I was lucky enough to meet Erin Hayes on the pilot of Kevin Can Wait, and she was available, and she said yes. I just did a thing yesterday where we were with Maurice LaMarche, Gary Anthony Williams, and Tara Strong talking about voiceover actors, and thought, what made you want to cast voiceover actors? I go, because I know what they can do on the fly. Like, how old do you want a character? Do you want it younger, 4 years younger? Do you want an accent? You want to pull back? And so all of them in the film are so versatile. And Mo relates a story to me yesterday, who he shows up with Rob, and Rob had never met him, Rob Belushi, in the first scene together. And Rob, during a cut, just says, man, dude, you're intense. And Mo was like, oh, good. I guess that means you accept me as a on-camera actor. But it all is encapsulated by the fact that Andy, Jill, and Andy did trust us with the cast. And as he said, and that was one of the things where he stepped aside, and we just knew that everybody could really, really bring it. And then I'm sure we'll get to this. Originally, Jim Ojala was sort of inquiring about directing the film, because I did Strange Nature with Jim, and he did a great job, and it's a fun film. But we got lucky. We got the best of the best with Andy directing, and then so Jim could focus all of his energy on all the practical makeup effects, because he's fantastic at that. And I have to talk about this one night in Monrovia. It's our hunter scene where we had so much going on. First of all, our production designer, Greg Armstrong, built street lamps in a parking lot of a Walmart. He built them from aluminum and put those in the scene. So amazing.
That road we were on was pitch black.
Second of all,
he built those, they're like 20 feet tall.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, and it was just and it looks legit.
And then second of all, when Andy went to scout it, it was bone dry. And by the time we shot it, 4 days of rain, running creek. Okay, we'll work that in with sound. And then our two actors, Ben Begley and Ryan Bottiglieri, have their birthdays on that day. So we got to arrange a birthday party when we break for lunch. And then it's two makeup people, two of Jim's people, because Jim was working on another project, Megan and Amber, doing all that makeup on Rob, decorating a deer carcass that's by them, decorating the other deer carcass. I mean, it was just that night sort of encapsulated to me that everything had to work. I'm pushing a car for poor man's driving process at 3 in the morning. We're all, and Jilly's running around trying to get everything organized.
Not to mention, I have to put this in too, because this is really great for all of you young filmmakers out there. I'm stuck in the car with Vince and Rob because freezing, and they both had the worst gas in the world. And I'm stuck in this chamber, this gas chamber. Talk about acting. When I screamed. I was like, because I couldn't wait to get out of that car and just breathe. But it was just all these other the bells and whistles that you would get somewhat in a studio. Here's your Uggs, come to, and here's your robe, come over to the trailer and relax in the heat.
Oh no!
Those things just
here's
go
your paper
out
towel for the outhouse.
Yeah. Exactly. This is true love of filmmaking, is when you're just I'll sit in this gas chamber right here, just suck it up.
Yeah, there you go. Carlos has got the sound effect down just perfectly timed too. So
yeah,
Carlos would often do that sound effect as the clapboard was coming down. He thought that was great fun. Syncing it and editing was another thing altogether.
That's just my ego. I'm paying for this. I can do whatever I want.
That was the thing. The other editor, Justin, was like, is the fart sound every time the clapboard comes down? I was like, listen, man, he's paying for it. All right, he's paying your salary. So
I'm plugging my Tesla into the generator.
That's right, plugging his Tesla.
And I'm making fart noises when I want to. Right. All right. I bought a freaking birthday cake.
Just put the whoopee cushion in the clapboard. That way it does it at the same time. Then you can sync it.
Yeah. No problem.
But there's an effect, getting back to Jim Ojala, and you guys will probably address that. There's an effect in one of our kills that went above and beyond and even shocked Jim how well it worked. It was a happy accident. And again, we were so lucky to have him and his crew and let him focus on just that. Because on Strange Nature, he did both and he did well. But just having Andy and Philippe working together and Jim working together with his department. I mean, that's where we spent a lot of our money, and that's where it was worth it. And then Jill getting us these free locations. Andy, first of all, is the hero. Jill is also a hero because she gets the Sorelli house and she gets the winery, which is beautiful.
Beautiful.
Nothing. But when we were coming down to the line trying to find locations in and around Lake Elsinore and Temecula, and we looked at these properties, we tried to consult real estate and permit, and Andy just drives down to Lake Elsinore, and in one day, in 2 hours, he calls back and goes, "Yeah, I found a groomer's, I found a hair salon, and I found a restaurant."
Yeah,
and they're all within spitting distance of each other.
Yeah,
So
we had found this in Temecula, in like Old Town Temecula. Like the first time we went out there, we found this. It was like
plaza.
It was a plaza, but
little
it was
mini
like
plaza.
closed down. There was only like one shop left, and then it was all these empty shops. And we were like, serendipity, we can just build all our shops here. This will be great. And the real estate company was like, go F yourself. And we were like, cool, thank you for your time. And so, yeah, we were kind of getting desperate. And I just started driving around Elsinore and Temecula. And I just happened to find this dog groomer. And I was like, man, it'd be great if there was a beauty salon across. And then like there's a beauty salon across the street. And I was like, holy shit. And it was like, all these kind of things. And there was a bar that opened up at 11 a.m. So there were plenty of drunk extras to just kind of walk up and down the sidewalk. So yeah.
Totally bewitched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need
Very nice.
Our drunk extras were actually very happy to
Yes.
be on. They were like, we get coffee?
And sausage?
Yeah. I tested the sausage.
Yeah. I want to throw this out there. One of our viewers says, Chris Faye says, much respect to you as a voice actor, Carlos.
Thank you.
And then Patricia also mentions, I also love Reno 911. By the way, if anyone watching has any questions, throw them in the comments and we'll try to get to them. Ziggy,
thank you.
Throw a question out here for one of these three.
Yeah, there is a fair amount of gore in this. I mean, a lot of it's CGI. I get it. You got to make it happen. But there's some good stuff in there. Now, was this by design? Did you kind of limit what you wanted to do with the special effects or the buckets of blood per se? Or is it just the right amount here? And you were, that's it? You got it?
Because of budgets, we had to concentrate on about 3 or 4 basic good kills that we could come up with. It's not World War Z, and it's not other movies where there are thousands of kills that just sort of get lost. And something I learned from watching Dead Snow and Leader, there's Dead Snow, there's like intestines and a skier's hanging onto the intestines. And, so I knew that Jim loves that stuff. And I said, what can we afford to do? And that the budget did limit what we could do. I believe the guy's name is Daniel Salazar. Is that the correct last name out of El Paso?
Zaldivar. Yeah.
He fixed our Mr. Georgesman scene in the bar where our character Gina smacks him with a bat. We only had one hit. Andy sent it off to his editor friend who recreated it. A lot of hits.
I mean, it was the Star Wars if you ever watch Star Wars, George Lucas's wife is the one that does the the Tusken Raider rocking the thing back and forth. They only did that one time, and she just went back and forth a bunch of times, and like that's a really memorable shot. And so Justin's like, so I did a thing. It's like the Tusken Raider thing in Star Wars. Jilly hits this guy 50 times. And I was like, I don't know. It was the fucking funniest thing I ever saw in my life.
It worked
it's impressive,
great. It worked great. And we used it, but we didn't have the degradation of the face as it's getting beaten each time. So we went to this Daniel Saldivar, and from San Antonio, and he put those digital effects in that made the face get worse and worse and worse. And so, Jilly, you have a great story about when Vince does a kill and you get spattered.
The shine box kill.
Oh, baby.
Tell him about that.
The money shot. That's the money shot. That's the one.
Thank you. I know. I'm so proud I get that all the time, like the money shot. I'm like, I kind of like that term now. Before he was like, ew, but now I'm like,
now
that's a negative connotation for too long. I'm taking
exactly.
it back.
Andy was with me and he was like, okay, this is what's going to happen. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, we got one take. That's it. And I'm like, all right. So she's like, let's go to the back. And we went with Jim and his team. And they're like, they put it in this, looked like a turkey baster, like shooter. What was it like, Andy?
We call it a guacamole gun. That's what you call it.
Guacamole.
Yeah, and it's like
exactly.
You shove all the guts and the viscera and the blood in there, and then it's like a pellet gun. They just pump it up with the compressed air, and they shoot it out. But yeah, and luckily we tested it, because the first time we tested it in the back alley, it blew the back of a cardboard box out, and I was like, less pumps.
I was like, my nose will break, guys. Like I was. Yeah. So there's a really authentic fear right before it shot at me, because I know it's going to shoot at me, but it was so authentic because I was like, I didn't know how hard this thing was going to hit. So I was just like, I just pray I'm going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We got a great team of people. If I start really bleeding, we know where the hospital is. And what's really great about it is, like, I asked him beforehand, like, what's in it, just in case I eat some of it, because it's going to maybe go in my mouth. And it was like this weird mixture of like banana peels and all kind. So it smelled amazing. It's like a smoothie. And so it shot at me. And then Andy got that beautiful, beautiful take, and up I went, and I was full of like banana, and I was just like, So, but it was that was such a fun experience, because there's nothing like having everybody watching you, because they know that's only one take.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of those on set, or a few of those, and the whole crew, the cast, you feel the energy. And it's just like, and everyone's like this.
Yeah, everyone's on their breath, because it's like, you don't, when you have a budget and it's budget and it's time. I think that, time is the big thing. It's like you're talking about this, you're talking about like the shotgun blast. I'm a practical. I want all practical effects all the time. I don't like CGI blood. Nobody likes CGI blood. But it's just one of those things, like wiring squibs, doing that safely. Now you need an armorer on set. It's all these things, like, and so it's like, it's snacks and meals. And so it's like, all right, I want the shotgun effect that can live digitally, as long as we can have 3 or 4 just decent, bloody, disgusting kills, because the original script was like, I would love to have had, $5 million to make this movie, because they had fucking Vince like catapulting with pool cues and like stabbing dudes through the chest, through a checkerboard. It was crazy.
Foosball. It was a foosball thing.
Yeah, foosball. That was what it was. Thing. And they had some like amazing kills. That was a hard conversation to have and be like, guys, like, because I know, like, coming from Fun House Massacre, like, I know how long those gags take. I can tell you.
And so did Jim.
You have stunts and you have gags. You are not doing more than 4 pages of script in a day. It is not happening.
Right.
So it's like, what do we?
Yeah, that whole Miola scene was written for an indoor office, and it was going to be a big old brawl, and it just got. But it works better. It's actually quotable.
You, and then you get to the bar, and that's big, and then you have the really big, So at least we stacked it, so it was like you still get the best kill at the very, very end.
Yeah.
Hey, as a bona fide gore fan, I was satisfied.
Yes.
Well done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, and Carlos, you mentioned the very ambitious gore effect, special effect earlier. Would that be the toilet seat garroting? Is that the one you're speaking of?
Yeah, if we're able to talk about it without giving too much away, because it does drop.
I don't want to necessarily say much more, but yeah. I just wanted to confirm that was the one.
Everything in that shot was practical. Everything, right, Andy? I believe there was no digital stuff added to that or enhanced.
No digital CGI added to that. No,
there was some
CGI were the bullets, the squib hits, and then Mr. Georgeman, we had the eye fall out and stuff, and then like the damage to his face and stuff.
Correct. Okay. And I will say that we had to score a certain part. We had to score it a couple of times, because my effort in that scene was real. I was really tugging, and then Jill was on set. And describe, Jill, what happened to you when you saw that scene, because you knew what was coming.
Well, I wrote it, and so I'm sitting with Andy and I'm watching the monitor, and we're not far from the actual scene itself, maybe a few feet.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm just watching the monitor like this, and this happens, that kill happens, and I screamed. I was like, ah! Like this, because I did not, what Jim did, I did not expect that additional.
To Jim's credit, none of us knew there was a spinal column in that.
Yeah.
And so like when that finally came out, and then it just like kept going, I was like, holy shit, that is cool. And then like there's a scene in the close-up shot, the gold necklace gets caught on the neck, and I'm like, holy shit, that's awesome. Like, I mean, it was nobody knew.
That's one of those moments where you're like, did you get that? Did you get that?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
One of those moments where I looked at Andy and I went, did I ruin it? Because and then he's like, you're fine.
And it was so funny. Like, if you cut to a behind the scenes shot, I mean, it was like 3 of Jim's dudes under each arm, and they're like animating this and the next going, and it was really tight. Carlos could not pull the head off, so we kept scoring the neck a little bit, scoring the neck, and then in editing, you're just cutting back between the actor and the dummy and because that was a full cast of Rob,
which was made out in the street in front of Greg's house by Amber and Jim's crew. They did it with sewing the hair on and it looks fantastic. So we didn't really kill somebody.
Well, and then since you're talking about some of the physical stuff, actually it brings up a question from a viewer. Patricia asked, was there any difficult physical acting in the movie?
I think for you guys, Jill and Vince and Rob, you're doing most of the running around. On my part, not so much, I
mean, it wasn't difficult. I mean, I'm a very active person, I'm an athlete. So it's like for something like this is like a dream come true to be physical, to use my physical humor. I think the only difficulty was, it being in the middle of the night and it's super late and we are exhausted and it's freezing cold and we had to do it, a few times.
Temecula gets very cold. It's like desert, so it's like in the summertime, it's very hot there, but in the winter it was fucking cold.
I will say something that Tara Strong said yesterday.
Detroit.
Tara Strong is on a Toronto-based or Canadian-based series called Hard Cases. She goes, it was colder in Temecula in December than it was this February in Toronto. Okay.
Wow.
That's how cold it was.
Wow.
And we absolutely love Brian Orley, who was friends with Big Dave Matty, our stunt coordinator. Brian Orley, if you watch True Detective season 3, plays the veteran who gets exploded by the army device at the front door. And that water, it was probably 37 degrees outside. That pond water was freezing. And Brian says, I'm going in. Do you need a wetsuit or no? Nope, I'm going in. And like, kudos to him, amazing.
That's another one take. And the whole crew and the cast, that was the last shot of the film that we shot. And it wrapped our film. And it was, what a great shot to go out on, it was awesome.
Nice. And Andy, I wanted to ask you, you seem to work with a handful of some of the same actors, besides Carlos. Ben Begley is another one.
Yeah, for sure.
And then fellow Oklahoman, Robert Peters. What is it about their talents that draws you? I had to throw in an Oklahoma reference. You guys know this. What is it about their talents that draws you to them?
I mean, I came up, I think my heroes were, Kevin Smith, and I love Eddie Burns, and there's, these are guys, directors that I love that always have the same actors doing different things and stuff like that. It's just rare when you meet these people. And, Rob came in to audition for Fun House Massacre, and his audition, it still sticks out to me as like, I remember just going to the casting director. I was like, "What?" And he didn't audition with Carlos. I already knew Carlos was going to be the other DJ, and I was like, "Whatever you do, this guy must be in the movie. He's so dry. His voice is perfect.
So good."
And then Carlos and him really hit it off. And so Carlos has done a lot of stuff with Rob. And then he brought Rob
many nights at Applebee's.
Eric Shavaria too. Eric Shavaria was amazing in Fun House Massacre. And so I was like, Eric, I need you for a day, and stuff like that. And so
2 days.
Yeah, 2 days. And I just, I love working with the same people over and over again,
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Ziggy, you had a question about how one reviewer compared this to The Dead Don't Die. Won't you throw this at Andy?
We just can't tell. Is this? Do you know this folks over there that are this reviewer that's making this comparison?
No,
I mean,
that was and I was very hesitant to put that review in the trailer. And again, this kind of comes to more of it's more of a Kevin Smith thing than it is like a Jim Jarmusch thing. There's a really funny story about when Kevin Smith was making Chasing Amy, and his producer went to the Weinsteins and was trying to get the money, and they're like, yeah, cool, we'll give you a couple $1 million. And he's like, great. And he's like, who do you have for the leads? And he's like, well, we're gonna put in Ben Affleck, Joey Lauren Adams, and Jason Lee. And they were like, no, you're not. And they're like, we want fucking, I think it was like Drew Barrymore, David Schwimmer, and somebody else. And and Harvey Weinstein goes, Kevin, it's not just about making movies with your friends. It's not all about just making movies with your friends. And he was like, no, it's fucking exactly like that, And so they gave him $250,000, and he went and made Chasing Amy the way he wanted to. And so when we got that review, it was most important to me that I was like, this is about making a movie with your friends. And that was really the only thing about the quote that I really liked.
Not contrasting it with Jim Jarmusch's work.
I love Jim Jarmusch. I haven't even seen The Dead Don't Die yet, but I was just like, it is about making movies with your friends,
But Andy, I'll be less diplomatic because I love Down by Law. I love Mystery Train. I own Mystery Train. I love Jim Jarmusch, but that film, it just doesn't work. It's sort of just all over the place. Tilda Swinton and Bill Murray. There's a great cast, but it doesn't work. And so I felt that quote that we used is fair in this one specific context. I think he's right. We did a better job with our friends. I think I will go on record. I will go on record and say that, Mr. President.
For those that don't know, there's a quote in the trailer that you may have missed from, I believe his name is Eric Lee, and he says, "Hey, Jim Jarmusch, this is how you make a zombie film with your friends." So just wanted to make sure there was some clarification there. But.
Yeah, but we'll both go on the record to say
slapped it in the trailer like a drunken sailor.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
Well, and that's what I think Ziggy was curious about. Like, was this a joke that you set up with this guy, or was it just one of those things that was kind of like,
because
there you go?
It was a reporter from one of the film fests. I don't know him, but I was like, I'll take that quote all day fucking long.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be fair, I don't want to say it's the same kind of film because it's not at all.
It's not.
They're like, it's a lot of dry jokes and reoccurring jokes that happened in that movie. It's fine in its own way, but I agree with you. It didn't work. It goes nowhere. This movie tells a story.
Yeah, and but Mystery Train, come on, Carla Perkins, Elvis Presley, and Screaming Jay Hawkins, who I went to go see after Stranger Than Paradise in 1985. I went to see Stranger in Paradise, and Screaming Jay Hawkins just happened to come into town at a place called the Club Cantel, a little basement thing at the bottom of a movie theater. And so thank you, Jim Jarmusch, for turning me on to Screaming Jay Hawkins before he passed away. Yeah.
Very nice.
I put a spell on you. Bum, 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 bum.
Oh, yeah.
Bum, bum.
Jill, did your background in stand-up and sketch comedy like Mad TV come in handy when writing this and then acting in it?
Of course. I mean, it just, I think everything it makes you more knowledgeable. And the great thing is that Carlos and I, because, we're stand-ups and I'm such a character actor, characters to me are everything. Like when I watch a movie, if they're kind of all the same, I'm like, I zone out. I like to see each individual, see their journeys. I want to, even if it's a little arc, I want to make sure they have an arc. I'm like, well, what happened to that one? Like, I'm that person. I can't just watch a movie and be like, that was great. Like, I'm like, each individual has to have something. And so for me, that was really, really important. And even at the table read, we even put it out there to the actors that we're reading. We're like, if something, make sure everyone has a little arc. If you don't feel it, let us know, because, sometimes, everybody makes the film better. Everybody you bring on makes the film better. That's my philosophy. I don't want to bring someone on that makes it worse. So, and Aaron Hayes came up to Carlos and I and said, yeah, I feel like there needs to be a little bit of a more arc with her because you want her to be intelligent, but yet she plays dumb because that's how she knows to get forward in life in this kind of situation. And then so we added on, she was like, there's something missing. And so we added on the scene with Roger, the priest. And I think that gave it another element to show like her vulnerability, that she is smart. She just does these things because, and it set her up for her character. So there was more of a, like, you got it when she was, turning and she's talking to Brett Ernst's character, Dominic, it had a little bit more heart to it as opposed to just like, here's another scene, So character work for me is huge. So thank you for even like asking that question, because that's something I really, I thrive to make sure that everyone can see that.
Right. No, that's good. Well, I was doing research and stuff for this, and I was looking you up on social media. I noticed we had some mutual friends, and all of them were stand-up comics, because several years ago, for about 5 years or so, I owned and ran a comedy club here in Oklahoma. So I've actually hired some of your friends and had them come to our little town and perform. So that's cool. Let me get into this. And this was, I will admit, this was kind of the thing that I don't know if I didn't like it about this movie or if it just threw me off. But what was why was the inspiration for what causes the outbreak what it is?
Andy probably have something to say about that, but we were looking for something creative. And again, I'll go back to Lederhosen Zombies, where the source of the infection is that they pour something in the drinking water at that ski resort, and it's like this green liquid, and suddenly everybody goes crazy. And so we've had a meteor, we've had radiation, and I just thought that would be a good way to do it. Andy, do you have any? I mean, that's how we wrote it. Jillian and I were like, yeah, why not? It's Italian.
Well, I think that's, I think this was something we definitely in the edit, we kind of were like, we didn't flesh this out as, this idea. I mean, the newscaster sort of glosses over it, that it was like, there was this hit that went wrong. And then, the family has now taken it out and they ground up the person. And this is, they brought this truck out to California, to kind of, fuck everybody over and stuff. And it's probably the thing that we didn't realize the most of the thing. But it was funny. My DP, Philippe Vandiwal, who's, he's a cinephile as well and stuff like that. He goes, dude, no one cares. He's Belgian, by the way, so I just forgive my shitty Belgian accent. Nobody cares. Everybody cares that they eat something, they get sick, they go raw. I was like, okay, yeah, fucking raw. Let's but yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where it's like it was very realized, and then it just kind of kept getting pared down, and then we probably didn't.
Although some would accuse us of a metaphor or symbolism in that Vince is our vegan, almost vegan, pure meat, hormones, antibiotic stuff. And so this is the karma for killing things and eating meat, is that you are eating poison. And some have accused us, like, did you purposely want to send a message that, the better, healthier diet is like, no, that was also an intention. Jill is our vegan and she loved that stuff. Yeah.
So that's what I really wanted to happen. And it was like a C storyline, and for honestly, I had it fleshed out in my brain. When we originally wrote the film, we had a really big ending, and we were like, that is way too expensive. And that's why we had to narrow it down to just the newscaster, but it was a way bigger ending with like a aerial view, and we wanted troops to come in, and we wanted the whole town that has been infected now, and they had to clean it and block it. And so by the time it got to Andy, that was gone, because we were like, there's just no way. Like, there's no way we can do this. So that being said, it was in our brains, and then Andy had to come in and like tie it up. How are we going to make this happen with this type of budget and make it still make somewhat sense? But again, it is, I think a lot of the people that I've known that are horror fans that, and friends that I just know as writers and stuff go, they people don't care. As long as it's a good movie, they don't care where it is. I mean, most of the movies, you don't know how it even happened. Like, it doesn't matter. But I'm like, but no, seriously, we have to put something in there that explains something.
You know what, Jilly? You just gave me an idea.
Right.
You and I, after this movie, are going to open up a vegan, whole grains fed chickens, holistic eggs place called Woke Yolk.
Okay.
We're going to make millions.
Millions, I tell you.
Woke Yolk. You heard it here.
That's franchisable right out of the gate too. I like that. Since you brought this up, or since you mentioned kind of making a message or sending a message in the film, there are some subtle and even not so subtle jabs at political correctness in this script. There's one great reference to Blazing Saddles, which I thought was just brilliant. And then for both of, all three of you really, but mostly Carlos and Jill, how do you feel about the PC culture that we're going through right now and how it affects comedy and art in general? Carlos?
Oh, sorry. Bad signal. What?
Yeah, he's like, no, what? I'm not saying anything to this.
No, Bill Burr's just like, I don't even pay attention to it. I just fucking do what I want. If you don't like it, I don't think that really entered into this film at all. Does it affect art? Yeah, one could tend to feel squeezed by it, but I think as long as you're not so outlandish. I used the example the other day. For example, Dr. Seuss versus something else. Dr. Seuss, that was voluntary. And if you go back, and I watched Joan Oliver, if you look at the books that they pulled, they were pretty nasty. Some other things are way less offensive and we get squeezed. But in the context of filmmaking, I think you can get around a lot of that. I think it's more stand-up or live performances that are more affected per se, because you can always put a rating on your film and nobody, I think we're okay. I don't know, Andy, Jill, how do you feel?
I mean, I think as far as this film it's okay. I think it's moving forward. Even me as a writer in stand-up, I'm choosing not to go to the stage when things are slowly opening up. I'm waiting a little while just because I think it is, especially as a woman, it's, and this is not to be a man-female thing or whatever, but it is harder for female comics. And I think we are judged way more. And I'm like, I don't want to be judged. I want to go up there and have fun. I want to tell jokes. I want people to laugh. I don't want to sit there and feel like, oh, I can't say this, I can't say that, I can't say this. So Bill Burr is established for being that ballsy, like, I don't care, I don't whatever. So it's okay. But I'm somebody that's more relatable. I'm somebody that's a little bit more mainstream. I do impressions. I do, things like that. I talk about my family. So it's for me, I'm taking a back seat right now and I'm letting this thing die down a little bit because I think it's gotten so crazy. And, and I just want to see what happens. But as far as our film is concerned, man, it's and we say zombies, but it's these infected people, which are like zombies, and it's a bunch of fun and it's going to make you laugh. And, every stereotype is in it. So it's like, what do you do?
Well, I think that it's sort of the evolution of humor is that everybody, as long as everyone is at the table getting to play, that's when you don't let people play. Like when Philomena goes, all right, with the camel toe, you fucking bitch. If Brett would have said that, yeah, that doesn't translate as well as it does.
Well, he does say Margaret Snatcher.
It's just like,
he does say. I was going to bring that up. He does say Margaret Snatcher.
He says it, but then Philomena says it. But then everybody, it's one of those
everybody
things where
is
such a double standard when you use the P word.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know if it was intentional. I live with two women. I live with three women, my wife and two girls. As Michael McConnell says, I live on Vagina Island. And so when we were writing it, the offshoot of this is that the women in this movie aren't just vessels to get a kid, right? That's what Mr. Miola wants. That's what I agree to as a father. It's like, we just need you to put a kid in this girl to give me a grandson. But we end up with strong female characters, one who's studying to be a vet, overcoming her fear. Patricia makes that speech about, I want to be president. That's stupid. Shut up. You got to do this. You're a girl. So, and then, of course, Rosafa is the most badass, strong character in the movie. So we sort of unintentionally ended up with a kind of a PC film because here's the thing we said about Shaun of the Dead. In Shaun of the Dead, I could be wrong, Eddie, but I don't think his girlfriend has much of an arc. She starts out, Shaun, if you don't, make something of your life, then we can't have a relationship and we can't work together. And she ends up the film going, great job, Sean. You've shown yourself to be a man. Now we can live together. She really doesn't change throughout the film. She is who she is.
Yeah.
And so we had Jilly change. We have Rose change. We have Patricia let us know who she is. And it's not that typical, oh, you guys go handle it. Gina's like, she grabs the bat and she's like, knocks out Mr. Georgesman, who's lecherous. And then at the end, his wife is totally Me Tooing Carlo at the end.
Yeah,
it's the wife
exactly
who's doing it.
That's the thing, is like, for me, comedy works as long as everybody gets to play.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like you can go edgy and like, yeah, we got a review the other day that I saw, and the person like took issue with the Italian stereotypes, and I'm like, I would totally get that, except for everything is in a positive. You're not showing anyone in a negative light. Everybody has their good and their bad, and the people that get caught in the tropes of like oldness, i.e. the Miolas and stuff like that, they get fucking eaten. You know,
it should be said that The
It's
Sopranos,
like everybody that's involved survives. You know,
The Sopranos suffered that same criticism of Italian tropes and stereotypes, but I think it's misguided because Rob is our storyteller.
Right.
Rob is the one that's saying, yeah, are my family a bunch of cartoonish stereotypes? I'm just a guy that's working at a dog groomer's. So that's a positive, if you will.
The poodle fucker.
Yeah, that's the positive image of what that reviewer would want. Carlo's the hero. The other guys don't do too well. So, yeah, people are just going to find what they want to find. Me being the Taco Bell Chihuahua, I've been through all that before, you know? Right. And, I think people are going to be able to pick apart anything they want.
Because my laptop is dying, so I'm going to get a charger.
Okay. And yeah, you want to talk about stereotypes. It's a total blaxploitation Pam Grier thing with the big afro and Monique Coleman, but it's fun. And she does talk about,
but it works.
Her speech is about, I'm not dying right off the bat like Samuel Jackson in Jurassic Park, or Yaphet Kotto, who's number 2. Harry Dean Stanton is number 1, I believe, in Alien. I'm not dying. I'm making it to the end. So,
well, funny story. I shared this trailer with a friend of mine, a very Italian friend of mine, yesterday. And 3 minutes later, her first message back was, "Is there a family dinner scene?" I was like, "Absolutely." And she was like, "All right, that's Italian enough for me. I'll watch it." So she was sold right there.
My wife,
and she's not even a big horror fan,
and she would love it even more because it's real Italian. It's in the backyard with folding chairs. So
right,
right. I mean, we got Vince Donvito, we got my wife Laura Malatesta, we got Brett Ernst, we got Rob Belushi. Are you kidding? Is it Italian? Forget about it.
Colonel, you got another question for these guys before we have to kind of start wrapping this up?
We'll stick on the Italian theme here for a second. Where did you find so many tracksuits?
That was Erica Schwartz, and she found them at the building on Universal Studios, which has floors and floors and floors of stuff. So she was able to get us a lot of great stuff. Yeah, that green velour one is just magic. I think I still have it.
Yeah, Erica was awesome. Like she was asking about Carlos's tracksuit, and I was like, "Yeah, this looks good." It was like, and she had these shoes that I didn't like, and I was like, "Erica, I know this is weird, but Puma makes these Ferrari shoes, and I saw them in Vegas one time where they're like Pumas, but they have the Ferrari logo on them." And I was like, if you can find something that looked like these, and she fucking found the Ferrari shoes. Like Carlos is wearing the Ferrari shoes.
Got them.
Like, nice.
I still got all the wardrobe, and maybe when this film gets very popular, we'll start auctioning off some of the wardrobe because it's in storage right now.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Patricia has another question for you guys. What was your favorite stand-up comedy experience?
My favorite by far, I got to perform on the Dolby Theater stage, was where the Oscars happened. And I was the only comic picked for Latinos de Hoy, even though I'm very white Latina. I was the only one, and I walked out there, and I felt like I was in a movie. It was just the most intense feeling. And having that big of a theater, because I performed at big theaters before, but this one, this is massive. And you had to wait. You would tell a joke and you would have to wait because you would hear laughter and then another set of laughter and then another set and another set and all the way to the top. And it was like a wave of roars. So I have to say, by far, that was the best experience I've ever had.
It
Yeah.
wasn't with me at Broad Ripple, Indiana at Crackers.
Absolutely not.
Second show, people drunk. Come on.
Is that one of the? Is that the same kind of motel that Andy booked you in Colorado when you did that movie?
No, Broad Ripple was actually nicer than the hotel I stayed in.
Carlos and I would have the best times. There would be times that we would walk in somewhere and it was in the middle of nowhere and it was sold out, crazy. And we would stand in the back of the room and go, "We love what we do. We love what we do. We love what we do." And then we would hit the stage and we would sell out of merchandise the first show. These people were just amazing. They
Yeah,
were,
super nice.
"We love you guys, blah, blah." And we're just like, it's amazing. You can't judge anybody. You cannot judge. You go up there, you do your job, and you're authentic, and you have a good time, and you connect with people. And I think that's probably why this whole PC movement, why I'm taking a step back, and I believe Carlos is too, is because we really love what we do. And it's like, so we genuinely want to connect with these audiences and make people laugh. So, hopefully during this time they can watch a film like Witness Infection and get out of their heads and just go down this ride with us, of this crazy ride, and get to laugh in that way now.
Yeah.
Okay. Jill, let's try to wrap this up with one last question with each of you guys, and then we'll let you go. And we appreciate your time and everything. But
thank you guys.
Jill, what is next for you? Are you going to be returning to comedy clubs, the circuit anytime soon, now that the pandemic is starting to lay out a little bit? And also, what can you tell us about The Fuck Happened, which is supposed to be coming out later this year?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to wait a little bit to return to the comedy clubs. I've got a few scripts that are milling around right now. And then Carlos and I have another script that we worked on that we want to make happen. And we would love to do a sequel to Witness Infection. We want to see how the audience accepts it and our feedback. And as far as, just what was the other thing you said that was really funny, though? You asked me if I was...
what can you tell us about The Fuck Happened?
Oh, The Fuck Happened,
movie.
yes. That movie. Okay, that is that will be coming out. That is really fun. That actually, they say be careful what you write because it could come true. This is Meg, that's on Amazon Prime, that Carlos is in as well, is loosely based on my life, and we made it very indie. The scenes run real long. It's real weird. We took out music and stuff. And yeah, I made that film, and it was like about how, like, as comics, we had to find ourselves losing spots to like YouTube stars and all these other people for a public appearance. And so I wrote this film about these relationships in LA, and I'm on this set. I get a call like, "Oh, come to the set. We want you to, to play this character." And I'm like, "Great." And I'm like, I look up all these actors' names. I'm like, I don't know any of these people. And I walk to the set. It's all YouTube stars. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So I wrote my life, and I'm in this crazy world with all these YouTube stars, and it's a very cool, trippy film. So it's really takes you into the minds of kind of like a VR world. So, so I think that it's completely different than anything that I would ever write myself. So I had a lot of fun doing it.
All right, cool. Carlos, you have an exciting project as well. Paramount Plus is bringing the Reno Boys back. Reno 911, the movie. What can you tell us about that, if anything?
I can tell you that Ben and Tom, the last time they emailed us, they're like, "Boys, we don't have a script yet. We have an idea, but it's coming." We just got an email today that we should be shooting in August. So more on that later. I'm always happy to don the polyester and the fake and or real mustache. I'm doing still doing my voiceover stuff, working on the Casa Grandes, and Nickelodeon, Victor and Valentino. Farzar is something I did with Waco Gun. That's going to come out next year. My End the Three with Jorge Gutierrez, who's brilliant. Book of Life, if you don't know who Jorge is, writing that script with Jill. And, I think I'm going to return to stand-up. I've done a couple virtual shows, and I do enjoy those because I just riff. So hopefully that's coming up. But that's pretty much me in a nutshell, and taking care of the girls, playing second fiddle to my wife, the ringmaster who runs the circus here. So...
That's the best way to do it, actually. Let them run the show, and you come in and do the cleanup afterwards if you have to.
And yes, really quickly, we can write a sequel to this movie. We would love to do that. So,
I fully expect one. I'll give you guys. I'll give you guys 3 years.
There we go.
And then we have to talk.
I'll tell you, it's left as such where it very well could happen. Let's just leave it at that. Yes.
Andy, can you tell us anything about Collection or The Retaliators? Those are 2 more films that you're involved in shortly.
Yeah, those are on the editing side. That's how I came up in post. In fact, I'm cutting a History Channel show called Assembly Required with Tim Allen, which is on tomorrow. So if you guys fancy a little home building with Tim Allen and Richard Karn, I'm cutting that show right now.
Nice.
And then Collection is a thriller with Alex Pettifer and Mike Vogel, it's all about the kind of seedy underworld of debt collecting. Is directed by Mariana Polka. She was great. She's very, she's a Sundance director, and so it's this kind of weird blend between a thriller and then this kind of art piece, and then The Retaliators is a horror movie with Michael Lombardi, and I edited that as well. So that's in post, and the company is Better Noise, and they're a big music company. So it's Michael Lombardi. It's a big revenge film, but Better Noise put all their bands in. So it's like Five Finger Death Punch is in there, and Jacoby Shaddix is in there, and from Papa Roach and stuff. So a lot of cool videos. Yeah. So those are all in the cutting room.
What about on the directing side?
Directing side, I don't want to jinx anything. I have a comedy that is like that close to going. It would be my first not horror movie. It'll be it's a straight comedy. We're right there.
Okay.
And I have a sci-fi movie called Flatwoods, and then another thriller called A Sharp Mind, which I hope right now we're talking to Dee Wallace and Danielle Harris. So it'd be fun to combine those two scream queens together, and hopefully that.
Yeah. And Andy, Jilly, and I will only do it if you put us up at a crappy hotel.
Sold. Hey, Patricia Stevens says to both of you, come to Pittsburgh and do some stand-up. Yeah. BK says he's got $200 on the Ferrari shoes. Yeah. Oh, okay. And maybe one more question, just so you can answer it real quick, and then we'll cut you guys loose. If you were to recommend one horror movie to watch, what would it be besides Witness Infection, of course?
It's easy for me. My all-time favorite, and I've counted the steps. There's 72 at 3600 Prospect Avenue. It has to be The Exorcist, by far, because it's 4 stories coming together in one room. Karis Marin, a divorced mom who now has to be a mother instead of a film actress, and Lee Cobb, who plays the Columbo-type detective trying to solve this case. 4 stories, one room, all comes to a head. The Exorcist.
Very nice. How about you, Jill?
It's old school.
I mean, that's a great film. I love Drag Me to Hell. I just that film for me, it was just so much fun. It was unexpected, and I don't know. I just like that kind of like feeling. But The Exorcist, of course, that's one that you can't sleep at night. But Drag Me to Hell is a lot of fun.
That's all right. My new school one, newish, is Ghost Stories with Martin Freeman. A24 Studios, same people that did Hereditary. Ghost Stories, go see it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna go with something.
Camp Coldbrook.
Camp Coldbrook. Yes.
Plug Cold. Absolutely. Plug that one. That one. Yes. No.
I watched that one last night, actually.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, I look forward to talking. Yeah. Little Joe Dante. Lots of, again, if you like pop culture references, I threw in a lot of Joe Dante references in that one. So yeah, something I saw recently that I just loved was, I don't know if it's The Relic or Relic. Did you guys see that? It's an Australian.
Yes.
Holy crap! Holy crap! That was just one of those where I was like, you kind of start off and I'm like, a little paint by the numbers, a slow burn, and then I'm like, what the hell am I watching right now?
Right.
Like so fucking cool, man. It really was cool.
Okay.
I felt the same way recently watching The Lodge for the first time. If you haven't seen that yet,
Yes.
That movie kind of came and slapped me back awake out of nowhere. Like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? Okay, I'm down for this ride.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you very much for coming in and spending some time with us tonight. Witness Infection is available tomorrow on video on demand. Catch it on Vudu. Catch it on Amazon Prime. Catch it on any of your favorite outlets out there. Thank you to Carlos, Jill, and Andy. And have a great night, guys. We appreciate you coming in.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. It was awesome.
Thank you.
See you guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That is how you do it, ladies and gentlemen.
That is not how you do it when you're called the Colonel, because I'm sorry. Emilio Estevez recently said Cincinnati's the Paris of the Midwest, while our internet fucking sucks. So I tend to sit here like, you threw it to me, I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck they're saying.
Oh, shit.
No, it was pretty good. I mean, it was exhausting, though. I mean, having that many people in there, and
I thought it went pretty well. Damn it!
And
I thought it went really well.
Earl and I, neither one of us said much, But I mean, the things I was going to ask kept coming up anyway. So you already heard what I was going to ask.
I kept trying to push it to you guys at some point, but it was just kind of difficult. But
that was just weird going back to an 8-year-old Colonel when I heard Rocco's voice and he threw it to me. I'm like,
I saw the look on your face too, and I was just like, started kind of chuckling.
Oh, where was everybody? We hit 19. What the hell, man? Folks.
No one wants to listen to just these people talk about a movie they haven't seen yet.
They want to
hear us.
You got to see it though.
They want to hear us rip about like 35-year-old films and make fun of hoes and horror.
I thought I was about to be taken to task on Camp Coldbrook.
Down, I was
like, oh, here it comes.
Well, that's why I wanted to get it out of the way early before they came in. So I wanted to like talk about it first, and then like not really kind of clean our hands of it and not really bring it up again. But then it got brought up again.
Well, hey, man, for what it's worth, that's pretty much the biggest stars we've had on the show to this point. I don't know.
And I think it went damn well. So
pretty good for the few.
There was a lot of information that we got that didn't really give away the movie, and I was trying very hard to frame my questions in such a way that it didn't do that.
Even dude was like, yeah, if we can talk about that when you
right.
I was like, oh,
we still got to be careful too.
Oh yeah, it's not out yet. It was out
there.
Yeah. Looks like BK says that was good. Patricia says you guys did great. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Whew, but yeah, I'm overheated today. It's warm in the house.
With that many people in the room, you just kind of gotta let someone steer, and just I think you did good. You threw it when you had to, and it was fine. It flowed nice. They had a ton of extra stories. That fucking guy was 1,000 voices coming at us.
Oh my Lord!
Yeah, man.
Well, and I thought that at first the fart sound I thought was you, and I was just like, "There's no way Ziggy has that much good timing right now." And then I saw him like do his mouth, and I was like, "Okay." He's good. That made me feel a little better.
Yeah, he's
so.
And like I said, hey, they didn't, they probably were like going, oh, great, another, but fuck it. This is promo, man. This is the circuit.
Yeah, this is what counts as a circuit anymore. Little small time YouTube shows like us. Not YouTube stars.
We're not YouTube stars.
We're not YouTube stars. We will, even if we ever do become YouTube stars, we will not act like YouTube stars. That is one guarantee I can tell you. At least, well, the Colonel will.
Speak for your fucking self, man.
Yeah, the Colonel will. Never mind.
I'm gonna live it up. I'm gonna be at WrestleMania and all kinds of shit.
Yep. I take a fucking Superman punch from Roman Reigns.
That's right.
He'll have a harem of assistants, scantily clad, carrying his laptop for him.
Yeah. I did want to ask him if the pandemic helped facilitate this, and get it out there. But and then we were kind of getting to that, but they both said they would love to do a sequel, which that was my final question.
Mm-hmm. There were a few questions that I didn't necessarily get to that kind of got touched on, but I really wanted to kind of dive into it a little bit more. And but yeah, the main one I wanted to really get out of them was the PC culture deal and how that affects their comedy and art anymore. So.
And you didn't get that one either. I like their approach. They were like,
yeah, they were politically correct about answering this question about being politically correct.
Yeah, pretty much, hey, that's what I expect. But Bill Burr, dude, he's like the fucking Rosa Parks right now of comedians for that kind of shit. So
he's crazy out there. Thank you, by the way, Dave. Dave says great job. And as a fan of film, it was cool. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of film as well. I thought that was.
I love stuff like that too, and I just, it's hard with so many people in the room. It's like, whew, you don't want to step on everybody, and you're waiting, and then that he's firing all over the place. So.
Yeah, and I wanted to dive in more, and maybe we'll have to have Andy on again sometime and talk more technical stuff. Sure. I wanted to dive into that at some point. Maybe not about this film, but another one, because, one of the questions I did not get to ask was, they say a director learns a lesson or takes a lesson away from every film. What was the lesson he learned from this one? And I would be curious to see what he said about that. But, yeah, go back and check out his older work, too. It's out there. The Fun House Massacre is available for free. There's another one that I can't remember right now that is also available for free on Vudu and Amazon Prime and things like that.
I watched that. I didn't want to start talking about it because I didn't get all the way through. But I mean, I got on late last night. I put it on, and I was digging it, man. After we got
the Fun House Massacre.
Yeah, I like the style of it.
Yeah,
maybe not quite as good as how it is in the Infected movie, but it was still. It's got some fucking gore in it, man. A lot.
Wait till you get further into it too.
Yeah. I got right to the point. It was just past I don't even want to give it away. Like they were in that vortex tunnel, and the clown wrestler guy came in, and they're just like, look at that. That's yep.
You're ruining it. I was only allowed to watch once they got escaped from the mental ward or wherever.
You don't even know what I'm talking about. You shut up over there.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
Watch it. You ruined everything.
If you guys didn't notice, Lorena was not here tonight. If you didn't hear, she had some personal things going on. So our thoughts are with Lorena tonight. Want to make sure to mention that whenever she watches this later on, hopefully. And man, guys, thank you to Patricia and Brad, and I think that was it that asked questions. Thank you guys for throwing out some questions out there. Wanted to try to include you guys as well. That's what we try to do here every week on Monday Maniacs. One thing I forgot to do earlier. I got to take a deep breath for this. The sales pitch. Don't forget, by the way, gang, to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and now Twitch. I still need to fix that graphic and add that on there. Make sure to go to our store. We're adding new items weekly. Oh, I forgot to make that new shirt available. Are we pushing that shirt next?
That blue one?
The Blood Boy.
That one's fine.
Colonel,
I own that one. That's my design.
I saw the art for it, so I've basically seen it.
Okay. Did you look at the link for the shirt? Because I need to release that if we're going to do that. I may do that later tonight, guys, so stay tuned for that. But check out our shop, deathcursesociety.com. We got T-shirts, hats, face masks, mugs, stickers, all kinds of stuff. We got more coming weekly. We got a couple of things in the works that are going to blow your fucking mind. Just telling you right now. Make sure to get on there, and you can use the coupon code ThanksManiacs. We'll take $3 off any order. Also, tell your friends to check us out on podcast. We're on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, and a few others. Check that out. Find us at your favorite place. I'd like to thank our members. That would be Chris, Lorena, Christy, Luke, and Tyrone. Thank you guys for joining and signing up and becoming one of the final girls or guys and helping support the show. That's how it works. If you would like to support the show, you can. It's $3 a month for the camp counselor. You get a handful of perks for that. Not a whole lot, but what do you expect for $3 a month? Come on now. Next, you can be the Crazy Route for $10 a month. You get a little bit more on the perk side. And then watch out, Ziggy. The final girl or guy is $25 a month, but you get a lot. And we are working on, is your head all right?
Went right through and got to the other side. It was so hard.
That hard? Damn. Sorry, man.
That's what she said. Sorry.
Lots of cool stuff that comes with this, including some free exclusive merch that you will not be able to ever buy, probably because legally we can't sell it, but we can give it away. So thank you guys, as always, for all of the support. We appreciate it. A couple more comments, it looks like.
When's the new shirt coming out? Well, probably tonight.
Yeah, I may go ahead and drop that tonight. So it's interesting. It's a design that Ziggy had. I think. Were you going to use it for?
Yeah, it was a band I was part of, and we had some designs made up, and then the band dissolved, and I own the artwork. So we said, "Fuck it, this looks pretty scary." So you see, if you like it, you can have it.
Yeah. We co-opted it for our own. So
yes,
yeah. It'll definitely be available tomorrow, but. And our full review of Witness Infection comes out tomorrow, so make sure to check that out.
Yes.
Go
ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish the thought.
Witness Infection. We just had the cast and the crew on and shit right, but do you really think we would have had them on if the fucking movie sucked? Think about it. I mean, this is a good one, man. You're totally going to be thanking us once you watch this movie.
I'm buying it tomorrow. As soon as or maybe even tonight, as soon as it comes out. I think it drops at midnight on Vudu, and that's where I have my digital collection. So I'll probably buy it. I think it's only $10 to buy it.
Yeah,
so,
DVDs too. We're gonna have DVDs.
I'm going physical, man. I'm going physical. I gotta have the physical copy of this. But yeah, like we said before, this is not just blowing smoke. This is literally a good zombie movie. Like there's so many shitty zombie movies out there. So fucking many.
Yeah.
It's just, like I said, they play it so fucking straight. Like, these characters are believable. Like, they're just, you literally get sucked in. These people's lives, you're just watching. They just do a good job. They
never break.
Right.
There's one line I have to give it. It's so funny. And it's when he's trying to convince his other son that he has to marry this other mobster's daughter. And like he finally, for whatever reasons, he agrees, and then he's like, well, the dad says, well, maybe, she'll be a freak in the bed and you'll fall in love with her. And he just looks at him plain as day and goes, well, she was with Dominic, so she definitely has mouth herpes. And the dad just goes, that's the sport, and kind of gives him a hug. It's just that kind of shit, man. It's fucking great.
Like one of my favorite lines in the movie is referencing the Blazing Saddles thing. You got a mob boss on the phone. He's talking. Oh, he's going to not marry my daughter. And this security guards are just fucking farting the entire time. And he just keeps kind of looking at him, keeps talking. He gets off the phone. They're like, "Sorry, boss." He's like, "Oh, my phone don't matter now." Like it's just to me, that just stood out. It was just funny to me. I couldn't help
That's right around the time of I got Blazing Saddles going on back here. Dave asks, is Fun House Massacre any good? Man, it's free. Go watch it and tell us yourself. I enjoyed it. I was kind of surprised I enjoyed it as much as I did.
I'll leave it at basically. There's not enough scary movies involving a fun house. So this is you could dig this. Go ahead.
Right. The storyline
too late. It was just fucking late.
Right. The storyline is 5 psychopaths break out of a sanitarium or asylum, and they happen upon a fun house, haunted house style attraction that is actually featuring real life acts that they carried out in their attractions. So they just kind of seamlessly filter in and take over and start literally killing everybody that comes through the gate. Well, there's one character that just happens to be, watch the guy on his phone. Watch that guy. You'll see him a handful of times in the movie. Watch him, because you'll just be kind of like, what? The payoff is good. But, yeah, I enjoyed it, so I would definitely check it out. Like I said, it's free. Faye says, as far as this PC topic goes, just as somebody who's working on a few things that is definitely pushing the PC agenda, I say do what you want. Try not to get yourself canceled, of course, but at the end of the day, comedy and drama are both are subjective, and everything just boils down to opinions. True, but there is crossing the line, and I didn't think this movie ever necessarily crossed the line, but I know there are some topics, and that was why I brought it up to the comic, that are kind of taboo anymore with, stand-up especially. Bill Burr, for some reason, has the free pass.
Because
he's Bill Burr, man. He's what he's named for.
He will tear you in half. He's so harsh to it. So if he's kind of he's reaching that South Park untouchableness, where you can't fuck with Bill Burr because he will fuck you up with his mouth. Right. And it's beautiful. I'm glad.
So he gets caught sending a dick pic to somebody. Oh, thing's done.
Yeah,
or whatever that Louis C.K. got in trouble for.
Louis C.K.
Yeah. Like to jerk it in front of ladies. Although the ladies were okay with it at the time, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, as long as never mind. No. See, James confirms it. The Fun House is a good one as well, and he also says you got to be careful when it comes to taboo stuff. Exactly. I think when we did the top 5 hoes of horror, that was probably the one that could have gotten us in a shit ton of trouble. But I think personally, the way we handled it and the way we approached it, we did that the right way.
Yeah.
Now. Some angry person could have come in just to be targeting us and raise hell, but that didn't happen. So, and that's one of our most watched episodes of Monday Maniacs. I look back at the last couple of months. So, there you go.
So we just stuck to the facts. A hoe's a hoe.
Pimps up, hoes down, baby. Yep.
Got the hoe down. All right, we got to wrap this up, though. Ziggy, you want to tell the folks good night?
Wow, man, that was a whole lot of fun. This Monday Maniacs thing is getting well beyond what I ever thought it could be. And only more to come. I'm not sure what we're doing next week, but in 2 weeks, are we going right to? No. I do know. We are going to do something a little different next week too.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get on here and do kind of a live assessment of Godzilla versus Kong for your approval. So see the movie and get in here and dig it. And we're going to break it down. Spoilers galore. So if you don't see it and you want to, don't join us because there's no fucking way we're going to be able to help not giving the shit away. But the week after that, the man responsible for these paintings will be joining us, Mr. Angelo Mariano, live from New York. And going to break it down, tell us about what he's about, why he got into painting, and why he loves fucking Fulci. Should be fun, and that's in 2 weeks, April the 12th, right here on Monday Maniacs.
So we talked to a bunch of fake Italians today, and we're going to talk to a real Italian in 2 weeks. That's how this show rolls.
If he shows up in a tracksuit, I'm dying. I'm sorry. I don't say, I wonder what's bad.
Please tell him to wear a tracksuit. Please.
He's not that kind of Italian, though.
I know he's not. I follow his work.
Well, and along with Godzilla versus Kong, we're basically doing a full live episode. And when I say episode, all the videos that we drop throughout a couple of weeks when we record, that's what I'm talking about. We're going to have a review on Godzilla versus Kong. There's a couple of movies from Shudder we're going to review that we have to talk about. Right. There's a couple others that we're going to throw in there, maybe a trailer. I know we're going to get the trailer real soon for Spiral from the Book of Saw. I think that actually drops tomorrow. So we'll probably talk about that on Monday as well. We've got the whole thing going on Monday, but we had to do it this way because Ziggy is busy on Easter and we record on Sundays, and that was not going to work. So we're going live. We'll just do it live. Fuck it.
Could be a complete fucking train wreck. So that will be all the more for your entertainment and enjoyment. So yeah, just tune in for that. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen? I don't know. It'll be great though. Either way, it'll be great.
Yeah. Colonel, send them out for the night.
All right, for the live episode, you guys have been warned. There's a lot you probably don't see that I say in the final episode. I will try to be nice.
There is a lot he does say that gets cut out.
Yes. So that being said, thank you for joining us tonight. Sorry my internet was shitty and just had to see me hit here like this. It happens. I'm sorry. It's working fine, and then all 6 of us are in here, and it's just like snip, 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 snip.
I heard Carlos go out at one point, and he froze up. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah. I love technology, but it's gonna be a lot of fun next Monday. Be on the lookout. I can't wait for you guys to catch this review for Witness Infection. I know I said enough. I'm gonna say it again. Watch this movie. You will not be disappointed, even if you just rent it. You will like it at least. And some of you may hate it. Everybody has different stuff, but if Crank says he liked it, you're going to like it. Okay. Usually, me and Zag are the people that love the bottom B, like B- shit, C+. Crank's like a B+.
Ziggy says it the best in the review. It's his kind of dumb. So I kind of agree with that. It's not necessarily my kind of dumb, but the humor that wasn't one particular thing over and over and over and over again, I liked. But that kind of wore it down for me.
I love the continuous
jokes. What?
So I just love the continuous fart jokes. You never go for a good fart joke.
See, one or two of those would be fine, but 50 in one movie? No, that's what dragged it down for me. But we can't really, let's not talk about this right now. They got to watch the movie and then watch our review.
I didn't think I was giving too much away. Before I give away any more, I just want to say, don't get sick, wash your dick, and I'm bringing it back for one more week. Don't smell like a Scuba Steve, use Summer's Eve. We will get that sponsorship from Summer's Eve. I'm telling you. Can you imagine this face in a Summer's Eve ad?
No.
Like going on a picnic, somebody like in the daisy field and shit.
Well, now I have to film this.
Yeah.
So the next convention we're doing a Summer's Eve commercial somewhere in a park in Cincinnati. So
you wrote your own death warrant, sir.
We could do it on the riverfront, man. There's a beautiful park down there.
You can scout the locations and find me a woman in a sundress, and let's make this happen.
Fuck that. He wears the sundress.
No way.
That's even better. I like that.
No, it's not. I'll be standing there all legs all spread apart, standing in front of the sun so you can see the shadow. No.
What's that swinging in the dress? I can't tell right there. All right, guys, we gotta go. This is fucking weird now. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you all. As always, make sure to tune in next week. It's going to be live. It's going to be fun. And we've got more videos coming to you all week long. So stay tuned for that. For the Colonel, for Zigzag, this is Red Crank saying thank you for watching. And we'll see you next time. And watch Witness Infection tomorrow. Woo!
Just in the middle of a dream, I was kissing Valentino by a crystal blue Italian stream. But I can't be late, 'cause then I guess I just won't get paid. These are the days when you wish your bed was already made. It's just another manic Monday. It was Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day. I don't have to run day. It's just another manic Monday. I wish it was Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day. It's just another manic Monday.
Well, we're waiting.
You don't have it, do you?
No.
Oh, I do.
Sorry.
Sorry, guys. Woo!